Now to MLM, multi-level marketing company, Rodan Fields, known for skin-related products including the Proactive Acne line. They recently settled for $38 million over misleading claims for an ingredient in their lash growth mascara product, citing a now debunked claim initially backed by glaucoma patients noticing longer and stronger lashes from treatment, including this ingredient. So how does this move the needle from pro MLM to anti MLM? Well, to me, it does not. And let me explain. Starting with the channel I first saw this story from, Jen Love. The reason I clicked this video as it was recommended to me was her using the key term MLM in her video title, which I don't blame her for doing that because that term does get clicks. Now, from what I can see, that video did well for her compared to recent uploads, but it was sort of misleading when the story had zero to do with the actual multi-level business structure of Rodan and Fields. Now, to me, this shows the most effective argument for anti-MLM and why, in my opinion, the term continues to lose its true meaning and value is when something unrelated to the business structure is used as support for the anti-stance when in reality both, in this case, ingredients claim issues and the business structure issues and other times, both of those things happen separately outside of the MLM industry. Now people will start saying, well, the settlement makes you look guilty. And well, I say, yeah, it does, but you are settling an issue and hopefully learning from your mistake, which by the way, again, happens with non-MLM businesses too. Sure, I think you should take into consideration when a company or a person is being sued and kind of give it a pause for concern and really evaluate the situation. But if the lawsuit has nothing to do with the argument you are trying to make, especially about the business structure, like in this case, why reach for the connection unless you are losing the war on MLMs and desperately reaching for any evidence to support that stance? On top of that, the MLM industry does not have the exact same structure across all companies grouped in this type of business. I think the industry will continue to rebrand under different labels to get away from this anti-MLM movement stink, in my opinion, failing to move the needle from pro MLM to anti MLM without slimy reaching for arguments tactics. But I think this story angled by Jen is also one example of an anti-MLM pattern of starting with the conclusion of MLM bad and reverse engineering, cherry picking data to support that narrative, rather than saying these are the things I think are good, these are the ones that I think are bad. Let's focus on eliminating the bad practices and incentivizing these companies and their distributors to keep the good things rather than trying to burn down the entire structure altogether, which seems to be a lot of times the angle. But this is why I also consider myself neither pro MLM or anti MLM, is because my experience in an MLM had a mix of good and bad things. Speaking of my experience related to this ingredient centered story in particular, I am not surprised about this Rodan and Fields product in particular having issues with ingredients, not only because of the claim, but also the MLM I was in, Arbonne, was set apart by their ingredient policies. So other companies like Rodan and Fields, or RNF as people would call it, not with that standard, was kind of a poo-poo, kind of like dismissed by a lot of people in Arbonne, likely for good reason if clean products are important to you. But I also know of a few people on the general team I was a part of in Arbonne that switched from RNF to Arbonne because of the ingredient policy reasons. And I've also heard stories of people having pretty bad reactions to Rodan and Fields products. But anyways, let me know what you think of the MLM or anti-MLM worlds, and leave any questions you have for me in the comment section, whichever is closest to you, because I would like to continue talking about this whole dynamic in the future. There's a lot where this came from. Thank you for joining me for this news live chat segment taken from the full broadcast. Click around the channel for more. Thank you for having me in your online life, and I will see you in the next one.